Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike, your host of 30 or Thursday Morning Live. So hopefully my tongue won't be too tied up all morning, but welcome. I'm glad that you're here today. And Thursday Morning Live is here every week. We start at 8:30 Central Time. Give some people a couple of minutes to jump on this morning. I just want to say that I'm excited about this morning. This morning I'm joined by a good friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, Chad Coe. And I want to just tell a story before I bring Chad in. And meanwhile, please, if you like this content, and please like it, please share it. Go wake somebody up. Tell them that we're on live right now. Share the video with them later. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. That's all we ever ask. But so here's my story about Chad. I met Chad probably 13, 14 years ago now. And the first time I met Chad, there was a connection, and you never really know what that connection is with people until somewhere down the road, right? Well, anyhow, I connected with Chad, and I asked him if he knew somebody, and Chad immediately went to his computer and printed out 3 leads for me, 3 people that he knew, that he said, "Hey, go and contact these people right now." And I don't even remember at that point what that was about, but I just remember the event. And Chad taught me how to be a connector, how to be a great connector of people, how to network, how to build your network, and something that we talk about all the time. So let me bring Chad in. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about life as an entrepreneur and great real estate deals and all kinds of stuff this morning. So, hey, Chad, what's up?
Hey, thank you for that great story. That's a fun one. I don't
Do you remember
remember the
that?
first meeting like that, but what I can tell you is as a way of life, I love to be able to connect and help people and make introductions that many times are very fruitful for both parties. Because right, this isn't just about taking, it's about both parties making it a win-win.
Yeah.
And my dad taught me that actually years ago. A fun story would be my dad was an attorney and an entrepreneur, and you'd walk in his office and you'd say, "Hey, do you know a banker, or do you know someone, for cars or whatever it would be?" And while you're standing there, he'd go to his Rolodex, right, the paper Rolodex, and he'd get the people on the phone within 30 seconds. And my dad would be sitting there and making the introduction and talking to the person and say, "Hey, I'm going to have Mike reach out to you, and this is what he wants, and this is how he's going to do it."
Yeah.
And my dad was very quick on the trigger to make connections and help people like that.
And I love that today. Like, I do that all the time with people. Just one of those lessons, I think, that helps somebody else build their business, right? My coaching clients, all the time, they need somebody to do something or meet somebody new. And here's a quick story, right? I have one of my coaching clients who, we started out, he thought he wanted to invest in multifamily. Well, he's ultimately decided that he's going to build a factory to build modular housing, all robotic controlled, in Omaha. And I have referred him to several people that have helped him spur this thing along and push it down, who've connected him to other people, and they've connected him to other people. So I don't think you can be afraid to ask for a referral, right? You have to ask for what you need.
But Michael, a lot of people don't take the time to even think about what they need. So how many people do we know that are in the rat race to try to grow and get somewhere, but they don't take the time to actually figure out who could get them there and how to ask specifically so you could get the results you want.
And why do you
So,
think that is?
um, they're in their head all the time, right? So if you're in your own head, talking to yourself all the time, it's the same conversation for 5 or 10 years.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't take the time to find the right circle or the right people to have that conversation with. So when you find the right person that could pull it out of you, now you have to act to what you just got. But people don't take the time to discuss, okay, how many people do you know that are private that don't share anything about their life with you or anybody? A lot.
A lot. Yeah.
So if you're one of those people that don't share, you're going to get stuck where you are.
Mm.
What I find is the more people I share with and the more people I open up to about a bigger me, they're able to help me with what their expertise is.
Yeah.
I delegate those things that are other people's expertise, and they quickly give me the answers that work in my life that I can implement.
Yeah. And, it goes back to that key saying, right? Ask and you shall receive. So
Yes.
a lot of it is you have to take that effort and that action to succeed. Hey,
And here we are. Hold on, Mike, real quick.
Yeah.
I was drinking out of this mug. My wife worked at UPS for 28 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we're talking about entrepreneurship today. And think about these guys who started under a bridge in Seattle, I believe it was, right, on $100. And they were going to ship goods down the California coast. And what happened is through word of mouth, by not keeping it a secret, people started to hire them to move goods, which now makes them a multi-billion-dollar industry and business, right?
Mm.
But you could start anything with $100. But the key is that you let enough people know to be able to hire you for a value they think is appropriate, and then you continue to build and thrive. A lot of people don't even get started with the thoughts that they have because they're afraid of themselves and they're afraid of failure instead of enjoying the success of what an abundant life could look like.
Hey, so did you just say that UPS started a couple guys under a bridge with $100?
Yeah, you could Google it. That's the story of how they started it. Yeah,
never.
And I believe it was Seattle where they started it. I'm not positive about that. And they started on the California coast moving packages, and they put them probably on the back of a horse and wagon at the time 100 years ago, and delivered goods. And again, it's like anything where the way that Airbnb started is a phenomenal story. It was a couple of guys who couldn't get a room at a conference. So they decided they found a house and they said, everyone bring your blow up bed. They had 10 people. They charged each person $50 or some random number. And they decided there's a demand for this. And that's how Airbnb got started.
Yeah, crazy, right? Well, and another one is Inland. 4 high school teachers, Inland Real Estate, right? 4 high school teachers go out, they buy themselves a 4-unit building on the northwest side of Chicago. Today, they're the largest REIT in the world. 80 countries, every asset class. The companies get started like that, right?
So be a leader, implement what you're going to do, be around experts who could help you stay on track, and then enjoy the ride of whatever it is that you're choosing to experience.
So let me ask you this. One of the things we talked about this morning before we went live, and we were talking about behind stage, was daily disciplines.
Yes.
And how important do you think daily disciplines are in people's lives, in their personal development, business development? Any thoughts around that?
Well, we could talk about that for a few minutes. So one of the things about my life is I feel I'm very fulfilled. And if I were to check mark happiness, spiritual, athletic, work-life balance, I think I have all that under control. Okay.
Yep.
One of the things that I don't have or have struggled with my whole life is my weight. So my daily discipline involves, as an example, a ridiculous amount of conscientious time around what I eat and how I eat. I even have today a daily discipline coach through a company called Food Fuels, where I'm down 30 some pounds because every single day I keep a food log and I send it to my coach. So when I wake up in the morning, I put on my food log that I wake up at 7:30 in the morning, right? I take my time to meditate, to look out and enjoy and be grateful for my life. I go and I shower and I get ready. I come downstairs. And before I come downstairs, by the way, every day I start with this glass, 30 some ounces of lemon water. And then I come down and I have my oatmeal or my veggie omelet. And that's how I start my day, right? And then I jump onto a Zoom call, a webinar, or make phone calls and ease into my day. The point is this: we don't get anywhere that we want to go unless we take the time to get there. And to get there with daily to-dos. Now, by the way, sometimes I'm up 5 pounds, sometimes I'm down 5 pounds. But as long as I work on this every single day and stay focused and make it a habit, success is showing up. Yeah. And it's success on the universal timeline. It's not necessarily success on mine. I just know that I need to be patient through my goal setting. And sometimes you need to change your goals and not get so caught up on the actual experience of experiencing the goal. So as I teach goal setting, Mike, our left brain tells us we're not doing it quick enough, or we're not accomplishing what our left brain tells us.
Right.
So what I've learned is that you could modify and move the goals and be more patient around achieving them. Give yourself a little bit of a break for sometimes not achieving it at 100%. And then what I've seen every single time is success has a way of showing up. It might take an extra 6 months, it might take an extra year. But in the life of an entrepreneur, there's no goal that I haven't achieved or excelled at by working on daily disciplines, keeping track of my goals, and keeping even better track of my to-dos to get my goals.
So we were talking this morning a little bit about manifesting, right? So obviously you're big on setting goals, but you're also big on the manifestation of those, the belief, right? Where does that come from? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, when I never really believed in God or spiritual or anything until I was about 28 years old, when I lived in a house in Deerfield with 3 kids.
Okay.
And a wife. And I remember that I was broke. I couldn't get any more lines of credit. My checking account was empty. I was struggling like you can't believe, Mike. And so I'll never forget this. I went out on my driveway. I looked up at the sky and I said, please, God, can you get me some money to be able to pay my bills? I've never missed a payment. And 3 days later, I got 2 or 3 checks. Now, some of them were from my dad, who, through a business deal that he did, I got a distribution that I wasn't expecting. But I said, this is pretty fun. Like I go outside, I look up at the sky, I say, please help me and give me whatever it is that I'm asking for. And it has a way of showing up. Do you know I've never looked back? I continuously ask for what I want, and it's continuously showing up. And even recently, I'm going to need new office space because they're putting up a 4-story assisted living where my office is. And a new building within a month of this opportunity showed up that I put an offer in that looks like it's being accepted. In an area that's a mile from my house.
What a fabulous story this is.
So you can't even ask for that. Like when I was told that I possibly have to move and they're going to be putting up a 4-story assisted living facility, instead of getting all nervous and upset, I took the moments to reflect on what the future could look like instead of the last 15 years of where I'm at. And it's an exciting future, right?
Yeah, and it's choices,
that's the stuff that happens.
Isn't it choices though, Chad? Don't we all have choices that we can make every day to think that way, to believe that, to do the daily disciplines or not, right?
Most people don't. And therefore, most people are not as satisfied or as happy as they potentially could be. I'm going to share with you a story.
Okay.
I just came back from Florida for a week. Where I went to Boca Raton and I stayed at a friend's house who belongs to a country club. We played 3 to 4 hours of pickleball every day. We went for walks. We went for lunch. We went for drinks. We had this incredible 5 days of being with our friends, right? And while I was there, I got to meet about a dozen other people that are living their life on purpose by moving from New Jersey, Chicagoland, or wherever, and landing in a place where there's community, where instead of working 10 and 12 hours a day, they're either retired at 55 and 60 years old by choice, or they're choosing to spend the mornings being active in the nice weather, taking a couple hours midday to work, and then gathering again at 4 or 5 in the afternoon for more, activities, whether it's pickle, drinking, tennis, swimming, whatever it is. And the point is, as I observe these dozen people, it's about living life on purpose on your terms instead of feeling a victim that I have to be here to watch my parents, I have to be here to watch my kids, I have to babysit the grandkids. Like everything's got to be a balance, but at the end of the day, it's your life. Yeah. And we're here for a limited amount of time. And if you're feeling the need to go on a vacation, or you're feeling the need to get away, or you're feeling the need to do something, I'm asking you to do that for yourself and stop living for what other people's needs are and how they're burdening you with the things that are important to them. And if you're able to get rid of the toxic people in your life, focus on your best life and the things that make you happy, life can be pretty joyous every single day.
Yeah. Interesting. What well spoken, Hey, Chad, tell people a little bit about what you do. I mean, you've kind of talked about you and what you believe and how you operate, but tell people what you do.
It's really what I want to do every single day, which is help people. There's nobody whose phone call I won't take. You could email me at chad@cofinancial.com. For 20 some years, I've been networking and having one-on-one meetings with people to help them achieve their goals, whether it's financial, personal, or professional. I talk to people how to go to their bosses and ask for raises. I talk to people about how to target certain companies to be able to move jobs. I talk to people about retirement and retirement income and retirement planning, if that's what's important to them. I have 1 to 5 meetings a day. Going through what I created was an abundant life roadmap, which includes their values, their goals, and the SWOT analysis of their life.
Hmm.
What are the roadblocks? What are the opportunities? And what are your strengths?
Right.
And when you focus on those and then revisit it every week, you get to achieve those. And one of my favorite questions that I ask Mike is, looking back 3 years from now, what has to happen personally, professionally, and financially for you to be happy with your progress? How many people take the time to reflect, looking out 3 years from now, to see where they want to be? And I learned this exercise about 15 years ago with a lady that used to set my goals for me. And I used to say, Annie, you're crazy. I'll never reach these goals. It makes zero sense to me. And do you believe it or not, because she kept me accountable to my tasks, every single year I would reach the goals or surpass them. And then one day in about 2009 or 10, she retired. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my goal setting friend is gone. And I have to now do it on my own. And today, my companies and my life is much more fulfilling than I would have ever imagined when I was in my 20s and 30s. But it's because I've been around really great people who think big and aspire for big, and have been there for me for over 20 years. As a matter of fact, Mike, I know that you're a coach, and I know that you're an accountability coach, and I know that you're a motivational coach. And I have weekly check-in coaches. I have my diet and nutrition coach, and I have people in my life that I get to check in with that help me stay accountable to my routines.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend that if anyone's on this call and they're getting started within 5 years of their company, whether they want to do real estate or any other type of business, that you reach out and you read Mike's book, or you could go to my mastermindconnections.com website and download any one of my 3 books and really let other people help you achieve what it is that you want and what you aspire for.
Yeah. Hey, and I really appreciate that. I never saw that coming. So the check's in the mail for Hey, tell people about your book, because you have 1 or 2 books, don't you? The Auctioneer and
yeah. So I just do what I love all the time, right? So about 15, 18 years ago, I created a book called The Power of Peopletizing. And it's basically how to be thoughtful, caring, sharing. And if you have an ego and you're really successful, then I'm really a fan of being a mentor to other people, right? So thoughtful, caring, sharing, mentoring, the power of peopletizing. Then I created The Confident Leader. And the reason around The Confident Leader is I've learned 7 secrets to creating unlimited confidence that many people are never taught about: becoming an expert, having a story, being a great listener, being a gift giver. It creates an aura of confidence so that when you're around people, you could feel really great about yourself, knowing that you're a giver, as an example, versus a taker.
Absolutely.
And my wife and I do auctioneering for nonprofits. Pre-pandemic, we were doing about 20, 25 a year. And I was fortunate to be connected with a friend of mine who helped me create a parable, which is The Auctioneer's Apprentice, which is really, I've been told, an inspirational book that helps people take their foot off the brake and really have a goal to achieve what it is that they want.
Yeah, it was it's a very inspirational read. I love those kind of books like that, but yours had a twist to it. And I think part of it was because I know you, and, we have this relationship. So, hey, Chad, anything you want to leave people with today? I can't believe we jammed through 20 minutes here already this morning, but I always like Thursday Morning Live because it's 20 minutes, a quick shot in the arm conversation for people, my goal always in every one of these is that somebody gets one thing and walks away. It's this week we did a Women's Day event on Tuesday for International Women's Day, and I didn't know anything about it. My team put it together, and I showed up, right, and got to just talk, and I was just like inspired. I was inspired by them, and hopefully inspired them. And what I said was, if we could touch one person today, and one person could walk away with something new, an idea, a thought, something that would help spur them forward, then it was worth the 20 minutes.
I would agree. If anyone wants to reach me on LinkedIn, I'm happy to connect with all of you at Chad Co. And I have open to help in my picture. And if you want to email me at chad@cofinancial.com, I'll respond to you. And again, really just thank you so much, Mike, for the 20 minutes. I really loved it. It's quick, it's fast, and it works. So thank you again. Much appreciated.
And I'm going to move you out. Hang with me in the back room for a minute. Let me say goodbye to everybody.
Okay, got it.
Appreciate you being here. Hey, everybody. That was my good friend, Chad Coe. And I just want to encourage you to reach out to him to have a conversation, if nothing else. If you need to talk about money, he's a great guy to talk about money with. But Chad at Chad Co Financial. And, if you are looking to network and build relationships with people, he's a great guy. So go there. And I never expected him to say anything about my book, and grab his book, and he's just has a lot to offer you. So building relationships with people is so critical in what each one of us do in our lives. A couple things that I just want to leave you with this morning. If you want to grab my book, Exit Plan, and you want to read that or read something on multifamily fundamentals, you could go to my link tree in the bio, in my LinkedIn or Instagram bio, and go download it, or go to my website, which is mycoreintentions.com/free, and you can download those books for free there. And then I want you to remember that on March 24th, we have a full day boot camp coming up. It's going to be virtual. I'm going to spend the day talking about multifamily fundamentals, theory, economies of scale, how to do the business, what you need to know, talk about underwriting. We're going to talk about due diligence. We're going to talk about networking and building strategic partnerships, and what it's about to raise capital, and how operations work. And it's going to be a broad stroke in the morning or all day, but it'll be a broad stroke event where you're going to walk away inspired and have the ability to go execute. So that's a free boot camp on March 24th. Go also to my website. You can sign up for that. And I'll look forward to seeing you there. And I'll look forward to seeing everybody next week. Remember, we're here every Thursday morning.